your phone say not available. I come say me go arrange another hustle. Your phone still say not available. I come say me I tell you say MTN don dey dash some people 20 times any amount wey they recharge.
Wait. MTN dey dash.
MTN dey dash 20 times any amount wey you take recharge. Now be say if you load 100 naira, na 2,000 naira be that straight.
Oh, so you mean say if I load 200 naira, now 4,000 naira be that? Sure, I don't dump bicycle dey slip since.
They dey run commentary now.
Guy, I dey go find my MTN SIM sharp. Yes, so if you never use your MTN SIM for the past 45 days or more, time don't reach to come back and begin enjoy plenty awoof as MTN go dash you 20 times your first recharge of every month. Oh yo, everybody don't go reactivate your MTN SIM. You still the wait? If you know fit find your SIM, sharply go any MTN office to do SIM swap and enjoy your own awoof. Terms and conditions they shall.
You're tuned in to the Front Page News on Classic FM 97.3.
Good morning. It's Classic FM 97.3. You're listening to Front Page News and Analysis. Remember, you can always send your comments to 33973. Also, tweet at us at Classic FM 973 with the hashtag FPN. Post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Classic FM 973. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, Vicky.
Okay. Let's start with this headline from The Punch. She says here, refusal to honor invitations, mixed reactions as Senate says IG unfit for public office. Bombers die as worshippers foil attack on Borno Mosque. Official corruption becoming permanent under Buhari, says CSOs. From the Nigerian Tribune, Oyo APC crisis, Unity Forum plans to scuttle local government election, burned APC secretariat. NPDP may pull out of APC this week. Right Oyegu laments marginalization. Oyinlola resigns from party. Obasanjo to address press today. Ex-PDP leaders and APC give 7-day deadline for talks. Letter is sign of 2019 battle. From The Nation, Ajimobi raises arson alarm on APC office. Nigeria's excess oil revenue rises to 22.4 billion naira daily. States, local government, health workers to join strike. And that is the Vanguard. Also from the New Telegraph, new PDP blocks issues 7-day ultimatum to Buhari APC. And we start with this in detail. Mixed reactions as Senate says IG unfit for public office. There were indications on Wednesday that the National Assembly had decided to suspend the 2018 budget of the Nigerian Police Force to penalize the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ibrahim Idris, over his refusal to honor invitations by the Senate.
Vicky, I need to, for you to put up your hand and swear that when I'm handling this story, you will not needle me, you won't push me, you won't do anything. Just let me through. Okay, all right. Today's Thursday, that's the day to the weekend, so we can afford to. Okay, now, so this is where we are now. The IG refused to show up again. The story has changed slightly. The original invitation to the IG was to discuss Dino's matter and use the opportunity to discuss other security issues. He sent in a DIG, said they don't want that, and so on and so forth. So where we are now is that he didn't show up yesterday, and the Senate were boiling. They say that they declare him a persona non grata, whatever it is, and that they're considering, now listen carefully, they're considering suspending his budget, his capital and overhead votes of the police. So you will put the whole security of the country at risk because a man did not turn up to honor your invitation. Who are you punishing?
The police force, of course. It
reminds me of the late Bola Ige, who was so reluctant to provide land for federal housing back in the day. Even in Lagos State, they provided them in some remote area, and that's how Shagari Village came out. Those who are living in Shagari Village today are better off than those who are living in Jagode houses, but that's a story for another day. Back to this. The problem is multifaceted, because so many wrongs now will definitely not make a right. Number one, the Senate has brought itself to this position of ridicule. I remember that when the customs man refused to And ironically, Dino was also involved then when he refused to accord them the proper respect when they visited him. I remember somebody calling me to say that, didn't I see that the Senate was becoming overbearing? And I had an argument with him that I believed in law and order, and that the proper procedure should be followed. I still believe in that, but I think the Senate itself has gone a bit too far. The experience of people in both the private and public sector, the people are summoned at the slightest, someone, and when the time is up, come with your MD, come with this, come with your chairman, come with at the end of the day, you go there, or sometimes they even visit you. Either if they summon you or they visit you, none is palatable to you as a person. We leave that story for another day. The Senate itself has not put, the institution has not put itself in a position of respect anymore. There are so many things you can count against them. The president of the Senate was standing trial. The whole Senate went, he was standing trial for corrupt practices. Corrupt practices. The whole Senate went and followed him to court. They didn't know the implication of what they were doing. Even in Dino's case, you suspended plenary and the 100 and something of you headed in the same direction to see somebody who was supposed to be in intensive care, a room that probably won't take more than 10 people. Then you suspended duties of the nation to do that. A man who is being suspected of being involved in so many things. So, the problem, that is as far as that goes. On the other hand, too, the IG has his own faults. And I believe that this, between the two of them, if we are not careful, they will bring the country to ruin. My suggestion, in all honesty now, is for the presidency to wave in very quickly before we have a crisis on our hands. And the two of them would need to back down. And let's not heighten tension at a time when you're having elections. Respect begets respect. The Senate itself has not lived up to the respect expected of them. And it is sad that this is happening under the leadership of Dr. Bukola Saraki, who I hear has a presidential ambition. Because if the way the Senate has been run in his tenure is anything to go by, I don't think anybody, will be too much in a hurry to put responsibility of running a country under him. I mean, don't forget that in the case of Dino, for example, it was alleged that he aided the escape of Dino in the first instance. And there's something here. People's reaction here, some I need to listen. The PDP is knocking the IGP for refusing to honor the Senate summons. Okay, and that is as far as that goes. But in his reaction, Professor Sergey lambasted the Senate for describing the AIG as an enemy of democracy. And this is what he says. Who is the total enemy of democracy when a whole Senate suspends sitting for a day, pack themselves to either the court in solidarity with a colleague who is being tried for corruption, or to a hospital in solidarity with a colleague who is on admission, regardless of the fact that they were elected to make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of Nigeria. To abandon your constitutional job in order to crowd a court to intimidate a judge, leaving yours undone. So who is anti-democratic? If the IG was invited and he couldn't come and he sent a DIG, then that is a high-level representation. Why can't they deal with that? If they feel he's not competent to answer their question after they had given him the opportunity, the case would have been different. However, they didn't give him a chance, and so on and so on. There's so much. Also, I have the reaction of the police itself was combative. Because of time, I don't want to go into it. The language that was used, and I think I've said many times that the police needs to change their public relations, whatever. The language was combative. The police cannot be combative with the National Assembly. It's not. You can't do that. What the police would have been to stress it, just make the point and leave it at that.
Well, they should go back on that decision. They can't, because they want to punish Idris. They shouldn't punish the whole force.
No, that is not. I don't know how any rational person would it's not rational. Oh, because the man hasn't appeared. The uniform, the corporal, and the whatever, the guns, the batons, all the things he needs. You won't honor it because the man did appear before you.
Jeopardize security in the country.
And jeopardize security of the country. Who is going to be punished? If you stop the IG, if you hold the IG's budget, even I don't want to use the word killer. What do they call them?
All right, let's take some of the comments here. Matthias he's pointing a finger at you here. Says, Uncle Jimi, Matthias says you're one of the people encouraging the IGP to disregard the Senate. Don't you know that you have a large following? It's bad for you. You're undermining our democracy.
Well, that's his opinion. I did not say. You see, that people don't listen well. I laid the foundation of the crisis that we're in. I did not say the man should not go. And I'm not setting any bad example for anybody. But then that is his opinion. I mean, hey.
Godfrey says the Senate is quick to identify enemies of democracy but blind to see themselves as the greatest enemy of our nation's democracy. It was the Senate that allowed DM to avoid being arrested, yet they want the IG to come and talk
to be honest with you, I mean, even regarding the last speaker, to be honest with you, the Senate has more blame in this matter than the IG. And the blame they have goes beyond the IG. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. This idea of summoning everybody in sight and visiting override, we all have a fair idea of how these things go.
Okay. Says,
I mean, you have a budget that you have not passed. This is
honestly, this is half of the year. IGP Idris refused to obey President Buhari's directive to relocate to Benue. He also refused to appear before the Senate for the third time. Is this the man who is supposed to spearhead the protection of the right of citizens and enforce the Constitution?
I really think we need to be fair to the IGP. I don't think he disobeyed. We need to get these things in perspective and not fall to all this political whatever. I don't think he disobeyed the president. What he did was he went and left. The man has so many things to do at the same time. And all of us know that in public office at his level, you almost want to handle everything hands-on. You know, we are quick to catch on to these things. He disobeyed the president. The IGP cannot disobey the president. Okay. You know, I'm not going to fall for that. No.
All right. Ebola outbreak. Federal government orders surveillance at nation's borders. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday directed the Ministry of Health to step up surveillance at all nations' entry points to prevent the spread of Ebola to the country following the outbreak of the virus in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And everybody's on the edge now. Remember when this Ebola outbreak?
Well, we now what we had feared, is virtually almost there on us now. For the federal government to have ordered surveillance at nation's borders, it means the matter is getting serious. Luckily, the Lagos State government has a history of handling situations like this. We're all reminded about the way it was handled the first time. I hope it would do so likewise. I expect the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State now, within the next 2-3 days, to educate us on what to do and tell us what measures are being put in place. We look forward to that. Don't forget, we also have a scare of Lassa fever. Sometimes you look at these diseases as if they are traveling. You have Lassa fever in Ondo. You have every day, people going in between Ondo State and so on and so forth.
I think with this Ebola outbreak, the leaders should have it at the back of their mind that this is not the time for you to want to reinvent the wheel in case of anything. You should go back to that same template that was used years back to prevent it, not wanting to bring. It's rather you innovate, not wanting to reinvent.
Look, you took an oath.
No, I'm just...
You took an oath before we started this program.
No, we need to, because this is not the time for...
Because my doctor has advised me, you took an oath.
We need to go back to that same template and make
all we need to bring to everybody's attention is that Lassa fever and Ebola, and we all know what to do.
Please, let's use the same template that was used years ago to prevent this. This is not the time to experiment.
I don't know about template. I don't know about experiment. You took an oath.
So we're moving on to this. New PDP.
I refuse. I'm not going that route.
Just making it clear.
You're on your own. You can make it.
Well, it says here, NPDP.
Because you see, why you're now you got me now. Because you see, I'm not going to keep sounding like a broken record. And at the end of the day, if all of us are happy with the way things are and we think it's business as usual, we will all pay for it. I'm tired. And I warned you about this bookie. I warned you.
No, let's not experiment with people's lives. That's just the observation. NPDP may pull out of APC this week. All Progressive Congress may witness a major crack before this weekend, except the new People's Democratic Party, known as NPDP faction of the party, have brought a decision to pull out of it.
I don't know. I don't even need to bring in the lawyer to find out if one can sue for neglect or for whatever. in case an issue like this is not handled well. If we can actually, yes, if people die as a result of some of these bad policies, we can actually sue at some time for manslaughter. Yes, it'd be good. We need to set an example about things like this. But you see what you have caused now. My mind has gone far. Let me bring it back here.
Just
now, who was it that I was telling yesterday that the APC is not a party? It is Buhari that, you understand, the APC is not a party. The NPDP, or whatever that is, that's the PDP group that, went into the APC, are threatening to pull out. They are not threatening to pull out, they are out already. Yes, this is the way it goes. We threaten to pull out and then they move. The reason is very clear. They have not been carried along in the scheme of things, if you get what I mean. Buhari is not a president any politician would love, because Baba he won't carry you along with anything. That's why I keep saying, have you heard anybody endorse him? The answer is no. What you're going to have is these PDP people will probably join the Duke or is it Obasanjo group I call it, and then you're going to see some big party emerge from that. Who knows? Even Atiku might find his way there. Now, the other issue that we seem to overlook is that the Senate president is also part of the NPDP. If they go, will he go with them? Yes.
Guy, now what for you? Where your MTN SIM day?
MTN SIM? You price I top on one side.
I don't call you since last week now. You don't miss many things. So business day, I say I call you. Your phone say not available. I call say me go arrange another hustle. Your phone still say not available. I call say me I tell you say MTN don't they dash some people 20 times any amount they recharge.
Wait. MTN they dash.
I say MTN they dash 20 times any amount you take recharge. Now be say if you load 100 naira, now 2,000 naira be that straight.
Oh, so you mean say if I load 200 naira, now 4,000 naira be that? Sure. I don't jump bicycle, they slip since.
You said the wrong commentary now.
Guy, I they go find my MTN SIM sharp. Yes, so if you never use your MTN SIM for the past 45 days or more, time don't reach to come back and begin enjoy plenty awoof as MTN go dash you 20 times their first recharge of every month. Oh yo, everybody don't go reactivate their MTN SIM. You still there wait? If you know fit find your SIM, sharply go any MTN office to do SIM swap and enjoy your own awoof. Terms and conditions they shall.
You're tuned in to the Front Page News on Classic FM 97.3.
Front page news and analysis on Classic FM 97.3. And if you have your comments, remember, send them to 33973. Also, tweet at us at Classic FM 973. Christopher Falajimi saying to you, JD, please, there is no Lassa fever in Ondo. The victim contacted it in Port Harcourt.
Whether the victim contacted it in Port Harcourt or not, is in Ondo. And I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's not. We're not playing politics here. I'm even wondering who Bukola is asking to follow the same template. You are not. You didn't explain it.
No, the Lagos State government.
Oh, I see.
I see.
The same
template that Lagos State government used years back.
Okay.
So you don't reinvent rules with people's lives.
I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know who.
Okay, so let's get it.
Got it.
Now you understand better.
I understand better.
All right. Strikes states local government health workers to join. Nigerians seeking medical treatment in any of the federal, state, and local government-owned hospitals may go elsewhere, as the Joint Health Sector Union, JOHESU, yesterday directed its members in the state and local government areas to join the ongoing health workers' strike by midnight.
Now, I don't think many people are aware that most of our hospitals are not functioning at top, not even anywhere top, even at half capacity, because JOHESU, which is the non-medical staff, they're on strike. Well, no, they're not non-medical. I think JOHESU also, I don't know if it includes nurses. I'm not sure about that. But I know that it is not, apart from doctors, they are on strike as we, as we speak. And they've been on strike for quite a while. And you just don't seem to hear anything about what's going on. They've been on strike for close to almost a week plus. Now they're planning that, okay, since nobody is paying them any attention, they're going to get private health workers to also join, which means that, okay, fine, if you don't go to Luth or you don't go to Lasruth, you don't attend Lasruth and you want to go to maybe St. Nicholas or whatever, those ones too will join the strike. The unfortunate thing is this Johesu, what is it called? Johesu issue has been on since the days of President Jonathan. And I wonder why it cannot be, why there's been no resolution to the strike. At one point, it was being said that, maybe they wanted to be paid the same salary as doctors and so on and so forth. And they said, no, they just want to be paid their own emoluments, and what is due to them. They've signed so many agreements with the government. Government has not honored any of it. What we'll do is, next week I'm going to bring one or two of their union members to come and lay bare, what the problem is for Nigerians to hear. But again, you expect people to step in, notable Nigerians to step into these things. They don't want to, and they will not. Some of them even have an insurance policy that includes evacuation, if you know what evacuation I mean. I don't mean evacuation of Sokeri, I mean evacuation, they can fly them abroad in a medical plane and so on and so forth. The poor man is on his own in this country. I keep maintaining it. He's on his own.
And it's a pity.
He's on his own. And unfortunately, he's also a willing tool. But let's go there today. Two other quick stories here on the same page. One here says that fake statements ascribed to Buhari flood social media. Apparently, the story, this is also because it's also health related. The story that says that Buhari had said in Chatham House that what is the difference between me and those who elected us to represent them? Absolutely nothing. Why should Nigerian president not fly with other Nigerian public? Why do I need to embark on a foreign trip as president with a huge crowd, with public funds and so on and so forth? Femi Adesina says that the president did not say so. I'm taking him on this morning later though. He's coming on live and he'll be able to explain this. But he's warning us about a lot of statements that have been attributed to the president and saying that he never said such things.
Okay, all right.
Very quickly, also medical. That's why I'm taking the three.
Okay,
Might be no, 1 second.
The comments are
yes. Don't worry. It says police screening candidates to undergo psychiatric and drug tests. That is very, very comforting. But I hope the tester himself doesn't have to go.
All right. Adebayo says here. He says Lagos State will give us Android app to fight Ebola. Smart city things. Honorade Epo says, I hope Ebola doesn't make its way to Lagos because I fear this government will bungle it. Yes, we handled it the last time, but it was under BRF, not Ambode. Ambode does not inspire confidence. A governor that met a working waste management system in Lagos and bungled it in the name of the Cleaner Lagos initiative. God have mercy on Lagosians. And this other one.
Why are you looking at me? I'm not going to make any comment on that.
Who's looking at you? I'm looking at.
Then you must be cross-eyed.
Godfrey says the health workers union include nurses and they have been on strike for close to 2 months. Other day says the dichotomy between the doctors and other medical staff is one of the reasons for the perennial problem.
Why don't we just take it head on and resolve it once and for all, and use best practices all over the world?
Ademola Oshimakine says, Lady B, which template? They didn't follow the refuse disposal template. Now, is it Ebola? Is it now that is Ebola they will follow the template?
You guys are joking with a very serious thing. In all honesty,
but that is why we need to hammer on it.
Because if you remember, if you cast your mind back to how the guy who brought it in, the sacrifice the land that they were made, how they cordoned off hospital, you will know that it's a very, very serious matter.
And
it's a very, very serious matter
as well. That is a serious issue.
It's a very and I think all hands must be on deck to make. I think the best thing to do is if you find that the refuse in your area has not been evacuated, go hire a tipper. You better help yourself. Go hire a tipper and get it and go and move it to some dump site and disinfect the area. This is now a DIY situation here now. Don't wait and just make sure that the environment is clean.
About the filth, the comments are coming in with the filth in Lagos State. How do you think this will impact?
It is a very, very serious matter, and self-help might work here. I don't want to die.
Individuals can invest in power generation same without license. And Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, has reiterated the commitment of federal government to encourage private power developers to invest in generation and distribution of power to the public.
I didn't know that the law had been revoked. I had thought that because in the past you couldn't. But now in Nigeria, according to Fashola, individuals can invest in power generation and sell without license. What this means is that you can have a large estate like Festac, you set up a power plant and sell electricity to the residents. I think it's a very good development. And if anybody should know, it will be Fashola, and he now says that any company can set up power generation from 2 megawatts downwards and sell them to the public without requesting for any license. We're encouraging people to set up small generating plants and sell according to their capacity, and not necessarily going for a big project that requires huge amounts of money and expertise. That's fantastic. Like I said, it'd be nice if you had a company, for example, who, Festac is well organized, who took on Festac to say that, look, we can provide alternate electricity for you at this charge. You will have electricity 24 hours. No need to put on candle and lantern. All right.
Let's quickly take some metro news before we leave the studio.
Oh, yes. We have to do this with full speed ahead. Right. Some metro news here. House Senate was invaded by thugs. The Senate at arms gives his CSO say Buhari's anti-corruption fight is failing. Oyo APC Congress, Shitu's faction plans to burn secretariat. That is Jimi. And international sports journalist honor Wiki with Power of Sports Award. Award. Wiki has a very big purse. All right. That's as far as the Vanguard goes. This is a pathetic story that I'd like the authorities to look into very quickly. I don't know who the new boss of La Cepa is, but they need to take up this case. It says that is the fumes from a neighbor's locomotive generator the cause of a widow, Mrs. Stella Iwunwe's health challenge. To cut a long story short, the madam has a neighbor. The generator fumes, she's now sick. And she's gone to hospital, and they've said that it has affected her chest, her breathing, and so on and so forth. Please, the story is in The Nation. With the La Cepa people, please read. It's on page 4. Read and please give us a feedback as to what they could have done to help the poor woman. Now, in the Punch, you have some news here. Lagos to complete rice mill in 2019. Yes, that sounds nice. But I would please enjoin the government to know that governments worldwide now are running away from getting involved in private businesses. What you do is you encourage private companies and what so on to get involved in rice production. I don't know. Governments run away and shy away from these things. Kano arrests 92 street beggars, and soldiers torture ex-serviceman to death and dump his corpse in hospital. And then court remands the Lagos lawyer, the lady who was alleged stabbed her husband. They remanded her in court. Oh, by the way, the death of the burial arrangements for Dr. Christopher Abede are, they are in the papers. I think it's going to be buried May 19, Saturday. Now, this is an announcement, but I'd like you all to know. The Lagos State House of Assembly is going to have a day's public hearing on a bill for a law for the registration of domestic staff service providers in Lagos State and for other connected purposes. I wonder what happened after the public hearing of the land use charge. I don't seem to have heard anything that has followed up. But anyway, this public hearing is coming up on Thursday, the 10th of May, 2018, at the Latif Jakonde Auditorium Assembly Complex, Alausa, Ikeja, 10 a.m.
Okay. Sylvester Steve Obiako says, self-help isn't for refuse alone. We also build roads and generate water, electricity, security, etc.
Secure yourself.
Yes.
That's all.
All right.
Secure yourself.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Thank you very much.
Sports Express is right after.
Time don't